Since the dawn of civilization, everybody has been asking me on how on earth I managed to create a custom resource which looks like an enum list in the inspector, getting its items from an array stored in some other node. In this video I'm gonna answer that question. But before getting into it, you need to know how inspector plugins work. No worries, because I'm gonna cover it all. Based on the Godot docs, we should first create a plugin. Navigate to the project settings, plugins, and click on the button. Let's name it my enum plugin, and as you see, we now have this script created. These two functions are called when the plugin is enabled and disabled. Let's test it out. Based on the docs again, we now need an EditorInspectorPlugin class to handle the editor properties. Let's make one, and don't worry if it looks complicated at first. I'm gonna explain everything as we move forward. For now, just do what I do. Control click and read the first line. We now need to activate this script when the plugin starts. Let's create an instance and add it to the mix. Don't forget to clear it up when the plugin is disabled. Now there's a huge confusion inside the documentation on inspector plugins. The tutorial creates a custom control for the int type, and it completely neglects the fact that you can use your own control scenes right inside the inspector. On the other hand, there is also no explanation on how to use your own custom classes instead of the built-in types. Let me shine some light on the concept. There are four main components combined to create custom inspectors: the EditorInspectorPlugin class, the EditorProperty class, the custom control scene to be shown in the inspector, and finally the class itself holding the actual data. This is how it works. The EditorInspectorPlugin handles what EditorProperty classes should be utilized for different data types, but it has no clue what is going to be shown if it's an int or string or your own custom class. It just calls the appropriate editor property when needed. The editor property is like a mediator between the actual data and the controls to be shown in the inspector. So the control doesn't have a reference to the data, and the data has no clue how it's going to look when exported. The editor property class gets a reference to the actual data and creates the necessary controls, synchronizing them with the data. Based on this concept, let's start creating our enum list property. Add the enum resource script extending from resource class. For the sake of this video, we just need some string to hold the name of the item selected in the dropdown list. Now create a script for the editor property class. Let's call it enum editor property. Grab the code from the Godot docs and paste it here. I'm gonna delete what is not needed and just keep the essential ones. I'm commenting some lines which need to be there but need to be changed later on. Cool. Getting back to the editor inspector plugin, let's grab the code again and do the same. The random int editor is the editor property class. Let's call it enum editor property and remove the rest of the code from the parse property function. Control click on the can handle function and read the first line. Let's actually test the system. Printing the object in the parse property function, let's create a scene. As you see, when I click on the node, nothing happens. Live server hack number 1. Whenever you are messing with Godot editor and something doesn't behave as expected, first reload the project, and if it doesn't solve the issue, it's time to start thinking about it. Now it's working. To show you what is going on here, let's add a camera 3D. If I return false when the object is a camera 3D, the inspector plugin script won't work. And this is how you can limit your editor inspector plugin to support only some specific nodes. For the sake of this video, I wanna support them all, so let's just return true. Now what the heck is the parse property function? Lifesaver hack number 2. Whenever there's a lack of explanation on something, just test it. This is how I figured it out. Make a new function getting the same arguments. Let's print them all and let's utilize it to see what is going on. Pre-selecting the node, you see that the parse property function has been called for every single property in the inspector. Let's check the rotation edit mode because it looks like an enum. Well, type and hint type are set to number 2. What the hell does that mean? To see the answer, control click and have a look at the arguments. The hint type is a property hint. It's actually an enum and the number 2 equals property hint enum. This is why it looks like an enum list. Going down in the same page, we reach the variant type list, and here 2 means type int. That's because enum items are just int numbers. As you see, some cool information are passed to the parse property function. Let's test it on our resource class we created earlier. Attach a script to the node and export the variable called blah of the type. I forgot to name the class. Let's name it my enum property. Clear the output and reselect the node. Look for the name blah. Again, let's check the numbers in the docs. Variant type number 24 means type object, because we are extending from resource, which extends from ref count, which extends from object. Going up, we see that the hint type number 17 means property hint resource type, which means it is a resource class. Actually, the type and the hint type aren't necessary for what I'm going to do in this video. I just wanted to show you how you can figure out the meaning of the arguments and know that there are some cool possibilities here. What is interesting for me is the hint string, which is directly pointing at the class name of our resource class. We can use it to activate different editor properties based on what the class name is. If hint string is equal to my enum property, the class name, print yay. And it is indeed working. Let's activate the editor property class in a step. There are two block properties in the inspector. One is controlled through the editor property class, and the other one is the default one used by Godot. To remove the default one, just return true in the EditorInspectorPlugin. And we are done. Navigating to the editor property script, a button is being created on the fly. I don't want that. I want to create an actual scene for the control and preload it. That's where the true power comes in. Create a new scene and choose OptionButton as the root node. Call it enum dropdown. Preload and instantiate it inside the editor property class. The current value can't be 0. It's going to be the reference to our actual data, my enum property resource. Do put as my enum property so we get the script hints. Reselecting the node, you see that the drop-down list has actually been created, but it has no items. Attach some script to the option button and put this code inside it. Keep it in mind that this must be a tool script or it won't work. Whenever you mark a script as a tool script, do reload the project immediately or unforeseen consequences may occur. Let's see what is going on here. We have the initialize variable to force the feed items function to happen only once. We do that because when you select something in the inspector, the code runs a random number of times and it can cause serious issues. The feed items function gets an array fed by the editor property, merging it with a temp array, which has no item as its first entry. The reason is that we don't want anything to be selected by default. Then it keeps calling the add item function of the OptionButton class, populating the drop-down list with what is inside the array. Control click if you need more info on that. Finally, it disables the first entry, the no item one, so it can't be selected in the inspector. Back to the editor property class, let's feed the OptionButton with some items. Deselect and reselect the node, and here they are. It is not over yet because the value is not saved. The editor property class must synchronize the OptionButton selected item with the actual resource class. There is a signal in the OptionButton called item selected. Let's utilize it. Printing the index, you see that it is indeed working. Cool, now it's time to update the actual data. The current value selected item must match what is selected in the inspector. It's not giving hints, so let's fix that. And finally, we need to call emidChanged or the actual property won't be updated. The moment we call the emidChanged, the update property function will be called. This magic code gets the property belonging to the object being inspected. Let's print them and remove everything else. It says null because we haven't yet selected anything. Now here's what we should do. Looping over the items in the option button, we check if the selected item in the actual data matches the item in the option button. If so, we select the item for the option button so that what is shown in the inspector matches the previously stored data. And then we set the current value to the new value. If you feel kinda confused, don't worry, because here is a clear step-by-step explanation of what is happening. Let's follow it up from the very beginning. When the plugin is enabled, it activates the EditorInspectorPlugin script. The EditorInspectorPlugin is called when you select a node. It checks the situation and decides on what editor property should be utilized. You can of course use different editor properties in the same EditorInspectorPlugin script, covering several data types at the same time. The editor property references both the option button and the actual data. It feeds the option button with the items upon initiation and adds it to the inspector. It uses the option button signal to know when the control has changed. The update property function is called when a change occurs, and it is also called when you select the node. If there is a new value, it means that the property holds some data previously stored. If that's the case, the option button needs to be synchronized with what is stored in the data. Of course, the temp variable current value needs to refer to the actual data. The updating variable is here to force it to happen only once. There's one issue left. We have hard-coded the enum list item. Let's get it from an already existing array inside the object itself. Add an array to the object, and now the EditorInspectorPlugin can pass the object to the editor property. Let's use the array to populate the drop-down list. One issue I couldn't solve is that you need to deselect and reselect the thing to update the list. If you have a solution for that, leave a comment and let me know. Having direct access to the object holding the property, you can do whatever you like with the object and its parents and children. Possibilities are endless. On the other hand, the enum list doesn't have to lie in the object. It can be an auto-loaded global singleton. This is actually how I show the global sender list in my free OOP add-on as an enum list. Have a look at this playlist to see what the add-on is all about. Please let me know if you found this video useful and subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Thank you.